Welcome to the first episode of Riverside Chats, deep dives into all things black box stocks. My name is River. I'm a black box stocks instructor, option scalper, writer, and adventurer. I'm also the host and creator of this show, where I'm going to talk with key significant individuals in the black box stocks community. This is an old school, audio only, long format conversational podcast, and we're going to go down some wild and windy roads. We kick off this grand indie experiment with a two-part premiere featuring full-time trader and black box stocks moderator SevenStarMike, deadly serious scalper and options flow trading specialist. Mike is an integral part of the BBS community. And on one certain wild and mythological December night, he came down to the riverside. So settle in, friends. Grab a beverage. Here comes part one of our premiere event. SevenStarMike, the man behind the mantis. Right here we have it, SevenStarMike. Say hello to the people, Mike.
What's up, everyone?
You know,
chilling.
Yeah, what's going on? Like I have an undisclosed beverage right here. The weather is beautiful in Tennessee. I'm sure it doesn't compare with your weather, but so what are you doing? This is 30 minutes past the market. What's going on in your inner sanctum?
So I've got a weird routine in that after the market closes, I shut down everything. I no longer do aftermarket research. So I crack open an undisclosed beverage also, and I just chill. I used to do hours and hours of charts after the market closed. And I thought, to be the cool guy, you got to sit there and brag on it on Twitter about how, I just went through 5,000 charts. No, you don't. That's a waste of time.
Oh, yeah.
There's no quality of life.
You got to post them all.
I just sat in front of the screen for 6.5 hours, and now I'm going to do another 2 hours of staring at more charts? No, come on. Luckily, the way I trade, I don't need to do that. There's people that do need to do that, but the way I trade, I just found a method that works for me that I don't need to do that. So once the market closes, I just shut everything down and relax.
Yeah, I'm fairly new to flow trading, maybe about 3 months now. And you've definitely become a mentor, but like that's the thing that just blew me away. I remember hearing you say that. You're just saying you don't do pre-market routine. You just don't do it. It's all flow, and that's great.
I can't do pre-market. I'm in California, so I'm going to bed at 3 a.m. and the market opens at 6:30 a.m. So I'm not waking up a minute sooner than I have to. So I can't do a pre-market routine because it wouldn't matter anyway. I'd forget it 3 minutes after I looked at a chart.
Now, I'm no expert, but I think they recommend more than 3 hours of sleep nightly.
I'm no expert either, and I can tell you firsthand, you definitely need more than 3 hours of sleep.
All right, so
I wish I could sleep.
Yeah, here's the deal for anybody. This is being recorded, and this is definitely. If you guys have questions, let us know what's up. I'll try to see them. But the idea of this, just to let you guys know, this is just long form conversational format. I'm just started this little podcast. It's totally me. It's just one person. I'm going to just talk to various moderators and other key people at Black Box Stocks, and we're just going to talk about stuff because I want members and me, frankly, to just know more about these people. These moderators are extremely interesting and full-time trading. I am not a full-time trader. I'm a part-time, basically options scalper. I don't do a lot of sophisticated trading at all. I'm a part-time options trader and a full-time educator. But I'm really I don't know. I'm really interested in this life of the full-time trader more than you get on some podcasts where you'll have them talk about their setups. You'll have them talk about their routines, the type of trading. Of course, we'll talk trading and we'll do a lot of that. But this is also to try to get to know these guys. And so you guys as members can get to know these people on a deeper level, as much as they are comfortable sharing. And I'm telling everybody straight up, I'm going to try to get to some good stuff. I'm going to try to cast a web and Mike draw you in and get you to tell us some stuff that maybe you haven't told people before. So along those lines, I would like to talk about what you have to say about your story of what you did before trading, right before it, and then how you transitioned from just part-time trading to full-time trading. And I think that's a great place to start if this is the place. I know you said you'll tell your story one day, and I hope this is the day. What do you think?
Yeah, there's nothing too terribly deep about it, and I don't recommend people doing it the way I did it. So I'll start with the way you should do it before I even get into how I did it. If
Okay.
you want to go from part-time to full-time, you
Yes.
want a year of living, and this is just, my general guidelines here. It's obviously not cut or set in stone. People will talk differently about it, but this is what I feel. A year of living expenses saved in the bank. So you're not trading and taking that money out of your account to live off of. You've got no debt. You don't want to be trading and having to say, oh man, the car payment is due in 12 days. I need to make $500 in 12 days. You don't want that mindset because you're going to force trade. You want and the time frame varies. I've spoken to Charlie about this a little bit. He says 6 months to a year. Maria says about a year. You want to be able to make the amount that you make at your regular job. You actually want to be able to make more than that in about a year's time frame trading. The reason for that is, let's say you make 75 grand a year, and then you're making 75 grand a year trading. The next year the market turns, you're only making 30. You're messed up. You can't pay bills and everything. So you want to be able to consistently make more trading than you do at your regular job. And the way I started, I was always in the markets investing a little bit here and there because I was working full time. I've been a Kung Fu instructor. I've been a retail manager, and I didn't have time to focus on the market. So my dad was big into investing. So I would, look up some tickers, look up some companies, figure out if I liked them. I'd buy a little bit of them and just let it sit there and watch what it did over the course of 6 months to a year. That's laughable to people that know me now because long-term trade for me now is about 45 seconds. So
yeah,
I was investing because I didn't have time to stare at the market. And then the more and more I got through my retail manager career, the more and more I said, I'm just so burnt out on this. I can't do this anymore. And the last straw was I went to a company that hired me to do specific tasks. I got the results that they wanted, and then they came to me and said, you know what, we like the results, but we have to go about it doing it a different way. And I was like, no, you hired me to do something. I'm giving you actually better than what they wanted, what they expected. And yet they're telling me you can't do it like that. So I was like, this red tape, this being told what to do, not for me. Because I used to be self-employed in retail also. I had a retail store of my own. Then I had to close that, went back to work for someone else, and decided, you know what, this working for someone else stuff isn't for me. So here's my funny story. I took a 3-week leave of absence, medical reason. I went to a doctor, and the doctor said, are you stressed? I said, absolutely, I'm stressed. Will that get me out of work? He said, let's do it. So instantly I was stressed, and stressed, and 3-week leave of absence approved. So here I am. I'm going to go trade for 3 weeks full time. And I'm going to learn how to do this.
So how long had you been trading before that 3-week leave?
Before that, I was probably maybe 6 months to a year. I had a small group of guys I went to high school with that we were chatting online about check this out, check that out. And for a full year, so actually it would have been a little bit more than a year, because for about a full year, maybe 8 months or so, we had this ticker we were trading that had a 50-cent pattern every single day. So we'd go in, we'd buy 10,000 or 20,000 shares. We'd watch it go up 20, 30, 40 cents. We'd close it. We'd go to bed. We'd wake up the next day, watch it 20, 30,000 shares, go up 40 cents, close it. And we would just do this all day long, making tons of money.
That is the
and
way.
Then the market changed. The ticker wasn't giving us that range anymore. And that's when I figured out I got to learn how to trade. So it was in this period where I was doing that, making money, where I decided I don't want to do retail, but I've been making money doing the stock market thing. I can do this full time. So I was doing that consistently for probably anywhere from 8 months to a year is probably that one ticker. We were only trading one ticker every day, but it had such a repeatable pattern. So I was like, you know what? I can do this full time. I can make a career out of it.
Wow. So you were range bound trading the same thing for 8 months, basically.
Oh yeah. It was one ticker with a repeatable pattern. We thought we were genius. We weren't making money. The stock market was giving it to us. So when the stock market changed, that's when we realized, oh, we weren't doing anything. It was, you throw a dart and whatever ticker it landed on, you buy it, and you could have made money that year.
Yeah.
So I had the notion that because I was making money left and right almost every day, this is easy. I can do this full time. So I took a 3-week leave of absence to prove to myself that without the safety of a paycheck, I can do this and make a living. So we're not trading that ticker anymore because the market conditions changed. I took another ticker. I had a $20,000 account at the time. I put $5,000 into this ticker because I was watching this one too. It was an oil ticker.
Yeah, yeah.
$5,000 into it, and that's my first trade as a full-time trader.
So that's a big percentage of that account.
It is. And when I yell at people now for over leveraging, you know where this comes from. Well, here's the thing. That 5,000 was great, but the ticker dropped. So what do you do as a new trader when you have more money and a ticker that's down? Well, you put another 5,000 into it, of course.
You got to average
down.
Now
I have 10,000 of my 20 in this one ticker. So I'm not learning how to trade because I'm so hyper focused on this one ticker, and my 10,000 turned into, now it's like 6,000 or 5,000. It got cut in half, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So what does a new trader do? Well, you take all your remaining balance and put it into that same ticker. So now I've got $20,000 exposed in this one ticker that's done nothing but go down.
What kind of support were you looking at with this 20K?
What is support? Couldn't tell you what support was. I just know this ticker is going to go up at some point.
You had conviction.
I'm 2 weeks into this 3-week period, and I've got all 20,000. I've made one trade. I haven't learned anything about the market because I couldn't watch the market. I was so hyper focused on this one ticker because that's where all my money was. So my entire account is in this one ticker. It goes from 20,000 down to about 3,000. It was an oil ticker, and I forget what happened, but oil just tanked. It was one of those headlines where they're cutting off, or this was when the wars were going on, where everyone was just going to increase production by 1 billion barrels every 3 seconds, and oil just tanked. It took my whole account from 20 grand down to 3 grand.
How long?
I'm almost due to go back to work. I haven't learned anything about the market.
Well, you've given away 25K to some hedge fund guys or something, and you got to go to work next week.
Pretty much.
So how long did it take you to blow up that account, or to get to that point in that 3-week period?
Well, so here's the fun thing about this. So it went from 20,000 down to 3,000 in about 2.5 weeks, and I had to go back to work in like a half a week.
Oh no.
So I'm thinking, okay, I have to go to work. I can't be a full-time trader. Literally 3 weeks and I didn't make a single penny. In fact, I lost everything just about from 20 to 3. I consider it a loss. I have 3,000. I'm in that mindset of what am I going to do with $3,000? This was such a waste. This was stupid. I'm an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Everyone goes through that thought process, right? So I'm thinking, all right, I got to go back to work. Now, another headline comes out. This was back when OPEC was doing whatever OPEC does and has fun with their supply and demand and whatnot. Oil went from whatever it went to and skyrocketed. My $3,000 went back to $20,000. I'm thinking, okay, I'm closing this the hell out right now, and I'm not doing that ticker ever again. I went from 20 down to 3, and now I'm back at 20, closing the trade. Hell yeah, I didn't lose money. I'm going back to work. My next thought was, wait a minute, I still hate retail. So I call the boss, and he says, you ready to come back to work? And I say, actually, you know what? I quit. Boom. Just like that. Learned nothing about the stock market. Didn't make a penny for 3 weeks. Almost lost every penny that I had. And I called the boss and said, nah, you know what? I'm not coming back. I'm done. I'm a full-time trader as of now.
You made that 20K back with your skill, right? So you were ready to, you made it back with dumb luck. So you were ready to just quit your job. Yeah.
It was one of those things where I knew I couldn't be a trader at that point. But I knew I wasn't going back to retail either. So it was kind of like, I can go back to retail and be miserable every single day of my life. Because at that point, I was doing retail for 15 years. And like I said, the company that I was working for at that time, they loved what I was doing and then told me you can't do it that way. because I was stepping on someone's toes that was ranked above me. But they brought me in to fix what that person was doing. So it made no sense to me. I was like, you brought me in to fix what this person's doing, and I'm doing a better job than you expected, but now you're telling me I can't do it that way because this person who has, 60 years of experience is getting mad. I'm like, I can't work like that. So I'm not going back to retail. I'm done.
So was this like a big box retail thing, like a well-known store? Okay, gotcha. So, and you were managing this, if it's a big box retail thing, we probably would have heard of, you had insurance probably, you had a decent salary.
I did. I did.
And you thought, I don't need those things right now. I need to go to the moon. I need to go trade.
Well, here's how my mind works. I knew I needed those things and didn't care.
Well, that's, here, okay, I'm in my old podcasting life. I interviewed people I'm drawn to people who are on renegade quests of their own. I mean, I'm on my own. My life is not normal. So I like what I'm hearing, because you knew the importance of those things, but you knew you had to change something. You were not happy in retail, and you were going to try something new. I admire that. That's a renegade quest. That's the wild edge. That's no guarantees. And didn't mean to interrupt.
That's my mindset for a few times. So before I was in retail working for, like you said, I was working for big box companies, a few of them, and I decided I wanted to run my own store. So at the time, this was, I don't know how many years ago. This was a long time ago. At that point, I was making about 80 grand a year. Nothing incredible, but comfortable. I wasn't stressed about money. I wasn't super rich, but I wasn't poor. So I was making 80 grand a year. I had the greatest benefits in the world. I had a job that I basically couldn't get fired from unless I punched someone in the face. And I walked away from all that to open my own store with zero income guaranteed, no benefits, no, thoughts that this could even last beyond the year if you look up the small business statistics. So that's my personality, is like, I know there's risk, but it doesn't scare me, which is why I'm a day trader, I guess. Risk just doesn't scare me away.
Were you in Long Island still when you owned your own store?
No, this was all out in San Diego.
Okay, yeah, because I'm curious.
Everything from that point, I was already out on the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm curious also. I mean, we'll go to this later. We can't interrupt this, but I'm curious how you ended up going from New York to SoCal. But maybe we'll get there. So, but I think this is important. If anybody is listening to this and they're thinking, I want to be a full-time trader. I hate my job. I'm ready to try. I'm not too risk averse. I'm ready to try this. What you said, I really like to go back to the way you said it should be done. That's an important thing. You said a year of salary in the bank. You should make a year of salary from trading, if not more, and you should be debt free.
Here's the thing.
That's a big thing.
It's hard to be there, right? It's hard to be at that point in life.
Yes.
That's a goal for some people by itself. Forget about trading, or forget about I'm in real estate, or I'm a car salesman, or I'm insurance, whatever it is. A lot of people's goal in life is just to be debt free. Forget about everything else. Like, I just want to be at that point where I have a year of salary in the bank and I don't have debt. Like, that's the end goal. As a full-time trader, I'd say that's where you need to start. And not necessarily, like, those numbers are different. Like, I had no money in the bank because I was making a ton of money, but I was, a little bit of a wild child at the time. I would spend a lot of money as quickly as it came in. So I didn't have a lot of savings to lean on. And the reason I say no debt and no, or tons of savings and no debt is because, and I see this in the chat room all the time, someone will come in and be like, okay, guys, I need to make a trade today. And the stock market might say, no, you don't. So when you have that car payment due in 3 days and you're like, oh shit, I've got to make $400 by Thursday. Well, now you're forcing the market to give you something that might not be there. Imagine the market that we're in right now. If you're not a scalper or a day trader and you have to make a certain dollar amount within the next 3 days, it might not be there.
That's tough.
So having money in the bank that you can live off of and not having debt that you're worried about, okay, I've got 15 days to make a car payment, and after that I've got to make the mortgage payment, and after that I've got to make the second car payment. If you don't have that mindset and you've got money that you can live off of, you're not stressed about, I have to place a trade today. And when the market gives you a trade, you take it And if you want to make $500 on that trade, that's great. But if the market conditions are giving you 350, you've got to take the 350 and run. So without having those payments looming over you, you can trade with a little bit of a different mindset. And let's say you make that $500 today and your car payment is $450. So you make the car payment, you have $50 left in your account. That's, the profit portion of that trade. You grew your account by $50 when you made a $500 trade, right? So you're not going to continually grow that account very well because you make $500, you take it out. You make 700, you take it out. You make 1,000, you leave 300 in there. Out of all that trading, you've only grown the account by $300 because you have to keep taking money out to pay bills. So you're not taking advantage of compounding that account where you can go from one contract to 3 to 5 to 10 to whatever. So you're not going to be making a lot of progress because you're just stuck. I make money, but then I have to take it out to spend it on, rent or the car or food.
That's right. And we factor in taxes, you factor in the wash sale rule if people aren't paying attention to that, and you factor in many other things. That's invaluable advice because in the chat room, I'm in the chat room most days also, and we just, we hear all kinds of ideas, and it's an amazing learning environment for sure, and I really love it. And by the way, my screen namer is The Great River in BlackBoxStocks and social, but I think that is deep wisdom that you just gave people because, in my opinion, sometimes it feels like we have an unrealistic view of money. What do you think about that?
Oh, totally.
Like people want to
the stock market just makes it worse.
Oh yeah, but one thing I don't like, I don't know, this is just me personally. I don't like it when people ask how many contracts did you get? Like they want to know the number of the contracts, and to me that seems almost rude. I don't like that. But why are people obsessed with?
Well, not only is it rude, it's the most idiotic question you could ask. The most idiotic question you can ask.
Okay.
If I post, hey guys, I'm getting in at $1. Hey guys, I'm getting out at $4. Oh, wow, great trade. How many contracts? Who cares? Why does it matter? Did you get in at $1 and out at $4? Let's say I have a $360 million account and I bought 40,000 contracts. Does it matter? Does that change anything about what you did with your $10,000 account? So who cares what I made with mine? Why does that matter? How does that make you a better trader knowing I had 50 contracts or 6? How does that impact you in any way whatsoever? It's game porn is what it is. Everyone's like, oh, dude, this guy just made $50,000. So what? You did.
Right.
Who cares what he made?
That's
and he's
right.
going to go have fun spending his $50,000. You still can't spend shit. So what difference does it make what other people do? I hate that question. I hate that mentality.
We just have an unrealistic view. I teach in a university, and college students all the time want to know, well, how much does this career make? How much does that career make? And of course, that's important information. But the idea is when people find out, well, if you're going to be a nurse, you can come out in this area and make 55K. And they're mad at that. They think, what, 55,000? That people feel like, if you're not making 6 figures, you're somehow not making money. And that's just not true. And I'm in the Southeast. I know it's different in Southern California, but even here, people have an unrealistic idea of how much money we should be making for our efforts, in my opinion.
And that feeds into trading, though, is because you don't have expectations. And you'll hear Mario say this, you'll hear Kang say it, I say it the same way. I go into the market every morning knowing there's a really good chance I can make money. Like the last time I had a losing, and this isn't to brag, this is just to set the background of it. The last time I had a losing day was the end of October. So I haven't had any losing days in November or the first, I've had losing trades, but overall the day itself has a loss, not till the end of October. So I can wake up in the morning and have a reasonably good idea that I'm going to go make money in the stock market. But, what I can do with my account and what other people can do, it just doesn't matter. It's two completely different things. And what people want to know is, I work, this shitty job and I want to be a full-time trader. Can I make it happen? So I think that's where they're grasping for, I want to know what you do with your account. Like, what can I do with mine? It might not balance each other because we can both start with 10,000 and at the end of the year, you might have 60 and I might have 12 because it's not the money you start with. It's the knowledge you have to be able to do something with that money. So I think people are trying to get an idea of, well, so I have this dollar amount and he's got that dollar amount. So if he's doing 10 times what I'm doing, if I just cut that by 10, then I should be able to do this much with mine. So I think there's something going on there where people are trying to figure out what it can mean to their account, but it doesn't work like that, because I don't make what I make because of a dollar amount in my account. I make what I make because of what's in my head.
Yeah, I think it's different. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the stock market, it's not designed to give you $50,000 a year. It's designed to present trades. And sometimes the trades are there and sometimes they're not. So if they're not there, and this is what I was going back to what Kang and Maria and I say it and a bunch of other people say, is you can't have an expectation of, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to make $5,000 today. I might make 50,000 today, but I might make 500. I don't know, because I don't know what the market's going to look like today. So if I wake up and every day I've got these expectations of, oh, I'm a day trader, I should be able to make 100 grand every single day. Guess I know people that make 100 grand every single day. I am not on that level, for the record. I wish I was, but I don't make anywhere near 100 grand day in and day out from the stock market. But I see people on a daily basis that do. Wow, I know people that are worth a lot of money. Yeah. What benefit would it be to me to wake up and say, oh man, I got to do what this guy does? I can't do what they do. So all it's going to do is push me down, because now I'm depressed that I can't do what he does. Now I've got these goals of, oh man, if I was making, let's say you're making $10,000 a day. Every day you go into the market and make 10 grand, you feel like a failure, because this other guy's making 60 grand every day. And I can't get to that level. Well, guess what? If you're making 10 grand a day, you're a baller. Who cares that the other guy's making 60? You're not a failure. So there's this unhealthy view of money that we have as traders, because we see so much of it. And I don't mean just, in my accounts, I see so much, oh, I'm a billionaire, I have all this money. That's not what I mean. I mean, around us, whether I make money or not today, I can go into the chat room and see someone post a $15,000 trade conference, right? So even if I didn't make money, I'm surrounded by people that are making huge money. And these dollar amounts, I mean, you just get numb to it at some point. So I don't look at trades as dollar amounts anymore, because I'm just numb to it. It's just, I got in here, I got out there. Great, next trade. It's so mechanical now, because you're just numb to the numbers that you're looking at.
Do you think part of that unrealistic money mindset that we have has anything to do with all the garbage on, Stock Twits and YouTube? And of course, not all of it is garbage, but the fake gurus and all of these issues. What's that about? People are really believing in these people who are just taking their money.
So here's my take on that, is that it's very easy to prey on people's emotions. So if you're down in the dumps, and let's go back to 2020, when people were losing their jobs left and right due to the virus. They're scared. Yeah. I was making X amount of dollars per year. Now I have no way to feed my family. Hopefully I can get unemployment. That's going to last 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, now I'm screwed again. Like, people are scared. So if I come in and say, oh, hey, in a very, markety type of voice, what's up, guys? I can show you how to make $3,000 every day in 30 minutes and then go back to bed. Well, no shit, you're going to click on that, right?
You're going to hope it's for real.
So it's easy to prey on people for emotions. And when you talk about money, that's a very personal thing. So if I do that marketing voice and tell you, you're scared, you just lost your job, well, guess what? I'm going to save you. All you have to do is put in 15 minutes of work every day, and within 3 months, you're going to have $10,000. Within 6 months, you're going to have 100.
Now, I'm going to
not going to click on that.
I'm going to edit that out and make that the podcast trailer for your episode.
You might as well. Watch. Here's what's going to happen. Post the two videos side by side with the title, Interviewing 7StarMike and Interviewing How to Make 10,000 into 100,000 in 3 weeks. I guarantee you the click count is going to be 1,000,000 times more for the second one. I see it on YouTube all the time.
A little clickbait's okay now and then, right? I mean...
But that's why we have these unrealistic expectations, is because people see that. If you go into YouTube right now and type in how to make $1 million in the stock market, there's probably 5,000 videos that instantly pop up.
Yeah, this is the theme we've gotten into, this unrealistic idea of money. Regardless of career, hardly any of us are going to ever, and I mean people in the United States, are ever going to make $1 million. Like that's in 1 year. That's just such a minority of wealth. But we see it and we believe these things, and it's just it's definitely a bit of a plague that I think is causing people. It's just making their monetary situation worse than it was than when they begun.
Yeah, and there's this thing going on where we're mad at people that are successful. And just from that statement alone, I don't want to ruffle feathers, but you can tell what generation I'm from. I'm from the older generation where we celebrate success. The younger generation, and I don't want to be us versus them. I hate being that guy, but there's parts of it that are just, that's the way it is. People now want to punish success. I'm not mad at someone that makes $1 billion a year. If I take them from $1 billion a year down to $1 million a year, guess what? It didn't improve my life one bit. What I want to do is take myself up to their level, not bring them down to mine. So there's all of that going on where we punish success. But $1 million a year, that's attainable for some people if you put in the work. But there's a group of people that say, no, you don't need $1 million a year. You're evil if you do that.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
you have to normalize success.
You're definitely getting into an interesting area. Like people will often want to kind of cap income and say, well, it's immoral to make this amount, or you shouldn't make this amount. And that amount that they are putting forth is always way above the amount they personally make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get them to that level and see if that number changes.
Right. Like if I make 70K as a teacher, then that's okay. But what kind of teacher needs 225K? Because, in the university system, things are very, it depends on what you teach. Nonetheless, that's an interesting thing. What do you think about stock twits in particular? Is that a thing you do?
I hate it.
I can't do it. I tried it.
So there's one feature I love about it, which is why I post on it, but I haven't read a single message on stock twits in, I don't know what day I joined up years ago. I used to, and it got frustrated and stupid, so I stopped. And then I wasn't on it for the longest time. The one thing I love about it is when I post ticker XYZ, good spot right here, it records the dollar amount of XYZ. And if I click on that post 3 days from now, it shows me XYZ is up $4.12 or down $6.19. I love that. The other thing I love, you cannot delete a post. You have, I think,
That's correct.
2 minutes after you post something to delete. So if I put a shitty trade on StockTwit, a month from now, it's going to show it was a shitty trade. I can't go back and delete that. There's a lot of people I've seen posts on Twitter left and right. Oh, the market's going to do this. The market's going to do that. And then you go back and say, the market did nothing what you said. Those posts are deleted. You're like, oh, that's why you have a perfect record, because you delete all of that shit.
Yeah.
So I hate StockTwit.
Cultivating some kind of falsehood to make us look better. And I like in Discord how there's the parenthetical edit. You know what I mean? So you can tell sometimes when people are.
Yeah, people want an edit button on Twitter. I say, no, leave it. Because I can say, hey, here's a great place to go long XYZ. I can go back and edit and say, here's a great place to go short XYZ if it goes the other way. So for FinTwit, having an edit button on Twitter would be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the number one. I read that's the number one feature people have been requesting for years, is the ability to edit a tweet after the fact. All right, so you bring up this idea of like I'm 46. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you want to say how old you are or not. But are we of an age? Are we okay? Exactly. Okay, so we are 46, and you mentioned this idea of people sometimes like to hate on success. But what about right now with the internet and everything available to us right now in this time? If you were the scrappy 21-year-old and you were ready to start a business or something, doesn't it seem like there's been no better time to get out there and try projects right now?
Oh, if you can't do it now, you're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I don't care how badly you want to be labeled yourself as an entrepreneur or influencer or whatever. If you can't go out and make money now, you're not an entrepreneur. Yeah, I have a cell phone in my pocket that can record 4K video. I can do a free account on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram and put that extremely high quality video on the internet for free. And as long as I know how to market it a little bit and get a few views and get traction, I have a following. Now I can have that following, buy my product or buy my service or whatever, that just monetize YouTube. You got these kids that are doing YouTube that are making millions of dollars a year just doing stuff on YouTube. That wasn't a career years ago. Now it is.
Yeah.
So
That's,
if you're an entrepreneur and if you have that mindset of I'm going to start a business, now's the best time in the world to do it because you can do it for free. I get this all the time. It's like, oh, I want to do this, but I don't have the money. Okay, well, start your social media presence and build up your reputation. Once you have your reputation, you can work on getting the money. If you have that reputation and you've built it up, you've got a head start on everything else you need to do for the rest of that business. So start it, get out there, do stuff for free. Now's the best time in our lifetimes to start a business because you don't need $50,000 of capital to start something. Go do it for free. Start your online presence. Build that up. Build your reputation. Let people know that you're the expert in this field. It's all free. You can do it all with the phone in your pocket.
no doubt. It's the golden age of you're right, of just entrepreneurial for people who want to go out and do things. I remember being in I was a musician for a long time and traveled in bands, and that was kind of how I paid my bills for about a decade. And I remember just printing out flyers and taking them and putting them on car windshields and going to like venues early and just doing these things. And like, I look at bands now that are, just all this stuff available to them. I just think, I guess with hubris and the fact that I just think I could have done it if I had all these tools, I think, oh boy, if I had all these things available to me, I would be doing a lot more than you guys are doing. But that could just be us being old. I don't know. What keeps people from trying though? What's the deal? You're scrappy, you do things. What keeps people from just giving it a shot?
Well, it's just the environment you grew up in your experience. So if people have vastly different ideas than me, I don't look at them and say they're wrong. They're not wrong. They have a different path in life that I took. So the reason I think the way I do and act the way I do is because of what I've been through from the day I was born till today. Everything I've been through and everything I've said and done and experienced shaped how I think and view the world. Someone else that has a completely different upbringing, well, they don't look at the world the way I do because they didn't go through what I went through. And I'm not saying that like I was, I had a rough life and upbringing and anything. I didn't. But who I am today is shaped on everything that I've been through up to this point today. So if you've been through hardship and you feel like there's no way out, some people are going to have that mindset where I'm going to find the way out, I'm going to create it. And some people have the mindset of, every time I've tried something, I've been beaten down. I can't win. So part of that is just how you grew up, what experience you've seen, what environment you're in. And then there's part of it that's your mind. Right? There's people we look at that had literally nothing and they're billionaires now, and you go, how did they get from nothing to here? That's someone that you're just not going to stop them no matter what they put their mind to. They have the ability to just do stuff, and they're going to accomplish whatever they want to. So there's a mindset that just allows some people to do that. And if you don't have that, you have to have the work ethic to replace the mindset. You've got to work twice as hard as someone else who's naturally gifted at creating something.
Yeah. Yeah. Did growing up in New York have anything to do with this mindset?
Probably not.
Okay.
I grew up in a nice part of New York. I had
Long
a
Island,
very
right?
easy lifestyle. What I had though, like my dad had his own business and he was very successful at it. So from early on, I didn't know details of anything other than, well, I want to own my own business. So I had that mindset of I'm going to do my own thing one day. And I was working for other companies to get experience and to get, the mindset of this is how they do this. I like it. This is how they do that. I don't like that. And then I'm going to take all that experience and put it into whatever at the time I want to put it into. So it wasn't New York necessarily. It was just, there's a mindset of New York when people think of New Yorkers, they're the hustle and the bustle, which I have that. We're always constantly thinking we're on the move, we're fast talkers, fast movers, this and that. And, the whole mindset of if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's not like that in every part of New York.
Yeah.
But that's the mindset of it. So you have that underlying feel to everything.
Right. Do you guys get tired of those stereotypes sometimes?
I don't, because I feed into half of them. And they're stereotypes for a reason. Are people from New York obnoxious and loud? Hey, some of us are obnoxious and loud. You can't get mad at that. Like, if you see someone, yelling and screaming and using their hands, talking wildly, why did it become a stereotype? Because there's enough people that actually act like that. So if someone says, "Oh, you're a loud New Yorker," okay, that's your opinion of me. Cool, you're allowed to have that opinion. It doesn't offend me, because there are times where I'm a loud, obnoxious New Yorker. I get it.
Well, I'm talking to these full-time traders, and I'm seeing some commonalities. I'm seeing some themes of just fierce independent streaks. And you said, your dad had a business and was successful. You grew up around this successful example. How old were you when you started thinking, well, I'm going to have my own business? And was that a teenage thing or younger?
It was. I'm not one of these people that said I started mowing lawns when I was 6 to make money, and by 8 I had the lemonade stand. I wasn't that at all. I was a very slow starter. But even as a teenager, I was looking at things I could do to eventually turn into a business for myself. And then as a Kung Fu instructor, I was working with my instructor to teach programs that he would set up. So we would go into a group and do a self-defense class. We would go into another group and do an 8-week martial arts program. We would do this and that. So there was a point where he didn't want to teach anymore. And he's like, "Hey, why don't you just develop this whole thing?" And I started going on and doing those programs by myself. So that was my first taste of, if I do this right and more good stuff comes out of it, that's attributable to me. That was my first taste of that, and I love that. When I did my own retail store, it was the same thing. People are like, "Oh my God, dude, that's terrifying. You have no one to fall back on." And I like that. Like, if I do something amazing, I want to know in my heart that it happened because I did something. I made it happen. And if I do something that completely fails, I don't want to point the finger at someone and say, "You made that fail." No, that's me. That's my responsibility. I like that feeling of good or bad, it falls on me. I don't know if that's just personality trait or what, but I like that feeling of I'm in control of what happens to me. Not 100%. Things can happen to us, but how I react to those things and the path I take from every decision that goes on, I'm making those decisions to do that. I like that feeling of it.
So you own the things. And so how do you feel when people all the time constantly blame the market makers for killing their trade?
How do you feel about it? Market makers didn't do shit to you.
Right. The MMs are out to get me because it's rigged or something. So the idea of
they dropped Microsoft $1 trillion, or Apple. They dropped this $1 trillion companies $4 to get your 2 options contracts. Shut up! They didn't do anything. Stop it. You know why you got stopped out? Because you placed the stop at a shitty location.
That's
all it is.
Yeah,
the market makers didn't do it. You did it. You placed your stop at a bad location and got stopped out, or your entry sucked.
It was 4 contracts, Mike. I was all in, and the market makers screwed me over.
I mean, that's their job, right? They hunted you down. They looked at where are these 4 contracts? We need to get those, and they tanked the whole market just so they could. Stop it.
Somebody just spent 0.8K. Some 0.8K flow just came through.
Yeah.
Somebody spent 800.
We got to get that.
Yeah, we're going to get it now. All right, so I love it. Okay, what brought you to San Diego? I've been in San Diego for a while. I know it. I really like it. And why such a huge move across the country?
Weather.
I tell you.
That's it.
I tell you, San Diego.
It was snowstorm after snowstorm in New York. I packed the car and just said, one day I'm out of here. And I woke up one day and it was just the day I snapped. I said, yep, that's it. In the car, I'm on the road. I'm out.
How old were you?
26.
Yeah, so 26. Young 7-StarMike, young future 7-StarMike gets in the car, probably a super nice car, and packs all your things. And did you have crummy cars when you were younger? Because I definitely had so many crummy cars, and that's just all there is to it.
Not crummy. I really only had one, and it was it wasn't luxury, but it was nice. I had the Nissan Maximo when they were the 4-door. They weren't a sports car, and they weren't a luxury car, but they were nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
and my mom had one. And when
like
it was time to get a car, I was like, I like that car. So, I ended up with one of those. And it was a nice car, and it lasted for, I don't know, like 10, 15 years.
Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice. So you go out to California, you have the retail business, you retail manage, you're tired of that, you're ready for a change. You go part-time trading, you scalp that ticker in a range-bound crazy range for a full year, and then you go full-time after your 3 weeks of madness. What about when you've like were you primarily scalping when you went full-time? Were you like selling premium? What do new people, or not new people, but people who might want to one day try to go full time, is scalping enough or what?
So I like to say you need to be a versatile trader. Right now, it's a scalping market. So if you're a swing trader and that's all you know how to do, you're having a tough time right now.
Mm.
It's a scalper's market. And then there are times where in a trending market, if you're scalping, you're getting, 3-point moves of a 19-point move. So in a trending market, as a scalper, you're going to be missing out on gains. So you really need to be a versatile trader. You need to be able to trade different types of financial instruments. You need to be able to trade up and down. You need to be able to get in and out quick. You need to be able to hold long term. You really just have to kind of condition yourself to learn the market. And right now, it's just a scalper's market. So if you don't know how to scalp, you're having a tough time. If you know how to scalp, like I see people in the chat room all the time, they're going, oh my God, this market sucks. This is hideous. What are we going to do? And I'm going, this market's great if you know how to scalp.
Yeah.
So to be a versatile trader, I would suggest if investing and swing trading is your thing, learn a little bit about quick ins and outs. Learn a little. It's not going to be your wheelhouse, but learn a little bit of it. And if scalping's your thing, learn how to hold something a little bit longer. It's not going to be your wheelhouse, but learn a little bit about how you can set something up now and maybe hold it for 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years, whatever the time horizon is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm personally, working on that. That's, as we've talked many times, that's my thing. Sometimes I even scalp, top tier flow, which is just, I don't think that's smart. I'll scalp it a few times and go back in and say, okay, this third time I'm going to hold it. I'm not even going to look at it, and I don't know. It's just something I'm working on personally. So I definitely.
Well, it comes down to your trade style though. So DT is a perfect example. You could have scalped DT for $100 a contract 3 different times. And then if you went back in the fourth time and said, okay, well now I'm going to buy this and hold it, well then you lost. I think today it came back a little bit, but it's one of those things where if you scalped that, you made money. If you swung it, you made money. If you scalped it for the wrong time frame, you lost. If you swung it for the wrong time frame, you lost. So you just have to be comfortable with what's your trade style. If you want those in and out trades, like I said, learn a little bit about holding something longer, but it's not going to be what you do every day. If you're in a trending market, buy something and just, let it sit for 3 days or 3 weeks, whatever the trend is, and capitalize on it. But you're going to be scalping in and out of that all day long if that's what your strength is. So DT is just that perfect stock where you could have day traded it, you could have scalped it, you could have swung it. That was top tier flow that you could have done all 3 different styles with.
Yeah, I remember when I think Charlie, or maybe you said this might be the same group buying this, because we had DT a few times. I remember when they came through and I did well with it. And then this last time when everybody took it in the chat room, or a bunch of people did, I didn't take it. And then when it got down, I did buy DT at 3, like even $3. I don't remember what the well entry was. Wasn't it like 5 something, or I don't recall.
The initial one was mid-5s, and then they rolled that down to a different contract, and then they hit it again just the other day. I think they hit it again today. See, this is the problem with me, is my memory is so bad I can't tell you if I was looking at something today or yesterday or Friday. I'm all over the place with. I know what I did at some point. I just have no idea when it happened.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but I do think this is a good lesson of what not to do, because I bought in at 3 even for that initial one, I think right before they rolled, and it just I scalped it a couple times, and I just thought I should just hang on to this. This is like 45% or something below the well entry, and I ended up buying the one they rolled down to as well, and I was totally going to hold it. This is good flow. This is so much money going into it. Scalped it. Couldn't help it.
Yeah, but if that's your style and that's what you're comfortable with, you're good with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like, and I use this example all the time. Like, you're out on the street, you're going shopping, someone walks up to you and hands you $500. Do you look at them and say, no, no, you know what? I'm not going to take it because when I go around the corner, someone's going to give me 800.
yeah, right.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, if
Right.
you have a profitable trade and maybe it's bumping its head against resistance and you go, you know what? I'm going to close it out right here. Who cares what it does 3 weeks from now? It's not your trade anymore. So if you're comfortable with that style of trading and you consistently make profits doing that, just keep doing it. And that's where I said be versatile. Like, add a few tickers here and there where you're just going to buy them with the intention of holding them. But I've had flow that might have 4 months or 6 months of time on it, and the same day we get it, it's up 60%, and there's a massive resistance level on a daily chart. I'm going to punt it. I don't care if it has 4 months. I made 60% in, let's say it's 2.5 hours. It's at a resistance level. I don't care what it's going to do tomorrow because I won't be in it. I have money in my pocket right now. Tomorrow it might be up 160%. I don't care. It doesn't bother me if it does that because I had a reason to exit. I had my money in my pocket and I'm comfortable as that kind of a trader. Now I've started a swing account to learn how to swing things and hold them longer.
Oh, that's on my list. I've got that on my list.
That's not my wheel now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how is that going? I mean, I know you're up, and I'm pretty sure you said you haven't closed any unprofitable trades. Is that correct?
So I am in 23 trades. 20 of them have been closed for profit. 3 of them are still open. Those 3 that are open are looking ugly.
Is it KO? You still got that?
I got KO. No, I actually closed KO for a gain, which was surprising because everyone, the whales exited. Everyone was taking a loss. I actually held on to it because the chart looked good. I got out of that with profit. So I'm in Geo, Oatly, and HLT. Those are my 3 open positions in the small account.
I'm in Oatly as well, and I mean, ER's coming. I don't know. I'm trying to swing it, but it's making me feel sad every day.
Yeah, I don't like that one, but it is what it is. There was good flow on it, so I stick to my rules.
I haven't cut it, but I don't know. So you're still in it. That's good. So the point is really, I think it's interesting because you scalp things. You like short-term trade. Seems to be a great thing that your psychology matches up with. So you're doing this you're doing this swing account, but even more than that, you're doing it publicly. And I would like to know, what's it like to publicly trade?
It sucks. I'm doing it for a specific reason. I talk about flow all the time, so I want to show people that I'm not just talking about it. I'm putting my money behind what I teach. And if you think it's BS, well, here's the trade confirmation to show it. And before you think I deleted any red trades in November, I posted the statement from TradeStation that showed all the trades, the exact ones I posted on Twitter, and it showed the profit or loss on every one of those trades. So it's 100% transparency. What you get with that is the haters come out. Because I talk flow so much and how, I love flow trading. I love it. It's just such an easy form of trading for me. And I don't want to sound like it makes trading easy. It's just, the style works for me, the way I've learned how to do it, the way I've learned how to interpret it. For me, it's the easiest form of trading. And so I probably come across like a dick sometimes because I'm like, oh, trading's so easy. You just follow the big money. And everyone's like, I'm trying to, and I'm not making money. So why? So I don't want to come across like that, but I know I do sometimes. I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just so passionate about flow trading that it comes across that way sometimes. So the haters come out all the time. There's people DMing me left and right that say, oh man, I can't wait till this account blows up and you fall flat on your face. So posting stuff live in front of a public forum, sometimes it just sucks. Because whether you do good or bad, some people are going to love you and some people are going to hate you. Doesn't matter. You're going to have people that they don't even know who you are. They're just going to come out and say, oh, you're an asshole. I told you you fell. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? All I did was post a trade entry. Like, what's this hate for? And you get that left and right. And I'm at the point now where it's funny, but there are days where you're not having a good day and someone says something like that and it ruins your day. You're like, oh, man, why? You don't know me. What are you coming at me like that for? So now I try to have fun with it, and I'll go after someone. I'll spit fire right back at them. But sometimes it just sucks. People are coming out at you just because you're posting stuff publicly.
Oh, there's no doubt. I've seen some of that in the chat room very, very recently, and I don't understand why people feel the need to just, attack people who are successfully trading publicly. I don't get it. Maybe it goes back to that original point. People don't like to see success, or I don't know what it is, but I can imagine it is bad. Let's get a time frame set up real quick. So how long ago did you go full time? How long have you been full time trading?
Oh, I think it was 2014 to 2015. Somewhere in that range is where it all went from I have a secure lifestyle to what did I just do?
I quit my job, man. I don't know what to do. Okay, so and then when did you get into flow trading? How long did that take?
So I was probably trading about a year, and then I was looking into learning options. And this is the one good thing about stock twits, because this is where I kept seeing BlackBox. I'm like, what the hell is this? They don't shut up. And now I know why, because I'm the one on social media going BlackBox.
Yeah, no, it's
so
you.
I'm trying to learn options trading, and I hear this name over and over. At one point, like, I'm not the kind of guy that joins groups and clicks on things to register. Like, I just don't do that. There's two things in my entire life I've been a member of, and it was BlackBox and IBD. And I was with IBD for maybe 3 or 4 months, whatever it was, and I was like, I don't really like this information, so I canceled it. So I'm not the person that clicks on these and joins groups. I'm in one Discord group, and it's BlackBox. I'm not the guy that has 95 Discord groups with alerts going off. I'm in one group. Luckily, it happened to be BlackBox that they were posting about on StockTwits, and one day I was like, I mean, they're all over the place. They say they have this cool scanner. I'm going to break down, whatever. I'm just going to buy it. I'll do 1 month, and if it sucks, whatever. So that was about a year after I started trading, but right when I started trading options. So it just worked out perfectly for me. That's just the luck of the draw. I happened to hit BlackBox when I was learning options, and could easily have been any other person out there saying, I've got this secret program that learned how to trade options in 3 months. Luckily, I clicked on the one that it was BlackBox.
Yeah, I'm super interested in, like, when it comes to the BlackBoxStocks community. If the listeners don't know, I also am a new instructor there, and I love it's an amazing job. I really love being part of the BlackBoxStocks education wing, and it's just a great place. But Mike, you are a deep, integral, almost mythological part of this community. I mean, you are right. Your understanding options flow class is right in the core of what this is all about. I'm just curious. You joined BlackBox as a member. How did this happen? Like, how did you become associated professionally with them? What's that story about?
So I'm one of those people that I want to know everything about everything. And this is why sometimes, and I'm a little hard on people sometimes for this, but I don't like when people just follow other people into trades. Yeah. And I get it. I know why they're doing it. I know there's different reasons why. I know both sides of it. And sometimes I feel bad because I'm a little too hard on some people. So if I've ever yelled at someone for that, I apologize. But I'm the type of person that I don't care that you got in at $1 and got out at $4. I want to know, why did you get in where you did? Why did you exit where you did? I don't care what the results were. I want to know the process behind it. So don't tell me what to do. Tell me how to do it, which is why if you look on social media, most of my stuff isn't saying you guys need to buy this right now. It's this is what you need to find an entry for something. So I joined BlackBox, and at this point, I wasn't making money, but I wasn't losing money. So I was at that phase in my career where I knew how to do some stuff. I didn't know what I needed to know, but I wasn't losing money. So at this point, I was like, okay, I'm going to do options. I'm going to learn how to use the leverage of options because I like that idea. And Charlie at the time was doing a flow class every day for 30 minutes during the lunch break. And we just did it on Discord. So we had a room on Discord. We would all go into that room, and for 30 minutes, we would talk about the flow that comes in during the East Coast lunch hour when it was typically a slower trading period during the day. He would do that every day. Every day I was in that class listening and absorbing whatever he would say. And I would ask questions and he would answer them. And then after hours, I'd go look up information and come back to him and say, oh yeah, when you said this and this, I saw how this impacts, like whatever it is. I'd go and I'd really dig into it to see what was going on. Because I didn't want someone to tell me what to trade. I wanted to learn how to do it myself. He was doing that every day. the old school members will remember Teresa used to do lunchtime with Teresa, where at lunchtime she would pull people aside and she'd say, anyone that's struggling, come here for a half hour during the East Coast lunch break. And for a half hour, it's just a room on Discord. We're going to go and just talk about whatever you need to talk about as far as what you're struggling with. And I would go there and listen to her every day. And Mario would give me advice, and I would absorb all this stuff. And then one day, Charlie's like, okay, you're in this flow class every day. You can probably teach it. And it was kind of a joke. It was like, haha, yeah, I'm sure, whatever. And then like a few days of that and a week of that and then a month of that, he's like, no, I want you to teach it. And I'm like, oh, shit. That's when you think you know stuff, and now you're responsible for teaching it to others. Your first question to yourself is, do I really know this stuff, or did I just think I knew it?
No,
so from that point,
that's
I just
true.
dug in like hardcore. I was like, oh man, he's not going to be in the room, and he wants me to teach this to these people. Like I have a responsibility to them. I have to really know this in and out. So I did about 3 months of just constant staring at flow and taking classes that he would put on. And after 3 months, he's like, you got this. You know what you're looking at.
And how long ago was that? When did you take over the options flow class?
Oh, this is probably when I first started with the group, maybe 6 months in or so. So at this point, it's been 5 years maybe.
So you've been teaching that options flow class roughly once a week for a full 5 years at this point.
If not 5, 4. I can't figure out time frames for the most part, but the what's the word PowerPoint. The PowerPoint presentation has the information on the slide is from 2019. So I've been doing the PowerPoint portion of what I teach now. That PowerPoint hasn't changed since 2019. I'm lazy. I'm not updating the graphics. So that's been the main course from 2019, but before that, I was teaching the class without the PowerPoint. So it's been at least, I'd say, probably a solid 4 years of, teaching people how I look at this and how we use the system.
Yeah, sure. One of our members in the daily chat refers to you as the Flow Lord, and I thought that was a great thing. And then Charlie as well. You guys are definitely the very inner core. But like, I know you and Charlie, I know you've talked about a bunch how you guys will you differ a little bit in how you trade flow. And is his style kind of rubbing off on you the more you get into it, or are you finding more of your doubling down on your approach? I know you have the public account that we've talked about, but how influential does Charlie remain? I imagine that's got to be an interesting professional relationship for sure.
So here's the thing. We actually trade very similar. There's few differences in how we use the filters and stuff. There's a few differences in he watches a lot of the ETFs and stuff like that where I don't. The way we actually trade is very similar. And I tell people in the flow class, it makes sense that it would be because I learned how to do this from him. But we're pretty close to the way we trade. He'll hold things a little bit longer than I will. I'm literally known as the guy who's going to sell everything the second I get into it for immediate gains and then watch it run. But I'm a scalper. I can't change that. That's the core of who I am. So again, that public account was designed to prove to me that I can hold longer, because now I have, people on Twitter watching me. Oh, you sold it. Ha ha, you're an idiot. So it's kind of holding myself accountable. So we trade the same things pretty much. If he posts something on social media, or if I post something on social media, you can call either one of us, and I guarantee we're both in the same position. And again, I learned how to do this from him, so I'm looking for the exact same thing. As far as how much of an influence he is right now, it's going to sound like I'm kissing his ass left and right. Like, that guy is just a genius to me, like pure, absolute genius. If he opens his mouth, I'm going to be there to listen. If he wants to talk about flow, I will shut up. And just in the last hour, you can hear I don't shut up. If Charlie wants to talk about flow, I will shut up and listen to every word that comes out of his mouth. That's the guy. He means a lot to me. And he developed a lot of what I do as a trader. I learned a lot from him. I used the system that he helped create, and he's the mastermind behind some of the changes that BlackBox has been through. And we spent some time on the phone after hours talking about flow or strategies. And he's the reason I am where I am. So I can't imagine ever a point where he wants to say something about, even if it's not about flow, if it's just trading in general, I'm going to be there listening to every word that comes out of his mouth. Like again, it sounds like I'm kissing his ass, but I just have the absolute most respect for this guy and for what he's done for me as a trader. That he supersedes me a billion times over. So I'm never going to step on his toes. Like that guy, he's shaped who I am, and he's made, he's created or helped create the system that allows me to do what I do on a daily basis. So
yeah, that's powerful. I was gonna say, imagine back in those years you just didn't join Black Box and you never went down this path. I mean, clearly you'd be in a different situation as a full-time trader. You might have been fine, but you've said several times publicly that you've found I don't want to misquote you, but I think you've said a stress-free way to trade because you have such a deep understanding of flow. And imagine if you wouldn't have
flow
found
trading
this.
is zero stress.
You're right. Talk about that, because I know that a lot of people are going to hear that and think, how is any kind of trading when you're a full-time trader and you have no other 401k? How can anything be? You said stress-free. So that's an amazing thing. And if anybody is kind of new to it, talk about that if you don't mind.
Here's the thing, and this, it kind of bothers me to a point where I just want to shake people and be like, you have to listen to what's coming out of your mouth. I can go through the flow class and you can look at the flow and say, okay, this looks like an opening position. Okay, this looks like a closing position. I know what the white, yellow, purple means, but people don't understand what flow trading is. And I was looking at the Q&A sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the questions that come out of people's mouth, they don't understand what flow trading is. And they've been through the class and they might make money with flow trading, but they don't understand what it actually is. There's a lot of common sense missing from the stock market. Like, you can take a genius, put them into the stock market, and they become the biggest idiot on the planet. The market has a way of doing that to people.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Trading is hard.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry. Trading is hard. So if you complicate it, you have no chance of success. And people are complicating it so much. So when I say flow trading is stress-free, it's because I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. The people that either they're not successful with flow trading, and listen, flow trading is not for everyone. It's the style of trading that just might not be for you. And I'm not mad at you for that. If it's not the way you find it easy to make money, don't use it. I'm not mad at you. I'll still respond on Twitter. Like, we're friends. It's okay if flow trading isn't your style. For me, it's just the easiest way I've found to find highly profitable trades, because I understand underneath it all what it is. And what it is, and I say this all the time, but people don't grasp it, we're following the big money into their trades. Hedge funds do not make a living by losing money. They're going to lose money here and there. The guys that entered KO, they closed that trade for a loss. I closed it for a gain. So your performance is going to vary. The hedge fund that entered that KO position took a loss on that trade. They're going to lose money from time to time. They don't make a living by losing money. So when people get into a trade for 4 months out, and the day we buy it, it's down 20%, and they're going, oh shit, I got to close this. They don't understand what flow trading is. Those traders did not open a position for 4 months to close it because it dropped 20% the day they entered. They don't even care that it's down 20%. The number of trades that go down 40%, 50%, 60% and go on to make profits is astronomical. KO was down 60% for me, and I got out with a profit. That's kind of a bad example because I wasn't following the big money entirely, but that's the type of trading that it does, right? These guys get into positions for multiple millions of dollars. They don't do that routinely for a loss. So if you're in the position based on flow, and the 3 positions I'm in now are down pretty ugly. One of them's 40%. I think one of them's 20-something%, and the other one's probably 40 or 50%. They're not looking good, but I just don't care. You know why? Because someone out there exposed $8 million of their clients' money to this position. As long as they're still in that trade, I just don't care what it does, because they're not concerned enough about their client's money to pull it out and say, nope, that trade didn't work, we're going to move on somewhere else. Their money is still in that trade. So they believe in that setup with $8 million of their client's money. I just don't care what it looks like for my whatever position size. I'm not going to give away what I have on some of those, but they put $8 million into it. They have much more at risk. They're comfortable with that risk exposure. So I'm not going to take mine off the table if they're not taking theirs off. They still believe in the trade.
Yeah, that's one of two things that comes up in the chat all the time, in my opinion, that people sometimes have trouble with: the idea of stops, using stops on really top tier flow. And that was one of the things early on. Two things I heard you and Charlie say that really affected me and wanted me to look deeper into flow trading. One, I heard you guys say the right flow comes through, you don't even look at a chart, you just buy it.
No,
you don't
I've
wait.
never looked at the chart to enter those trades.
Right. You don't wait for a pullback, you just buy it. And I thought, okay, that's a powerful statement. I got to check that out. And the second thing was, you've said many times, for the right flow, you don't use stops, period.
Nope.
So,
and again, why though? Like, just forget about the statement, but why? Because I understand flow trading. Why do I not look at a chart? Even if, let's just say there's a good chance this chart is going to pull back after the entry. Why don't I care?
Well, I think it's
the
because
big money exposed
yeah.
$8 million of their capital at $4.90.
Yeah.
I don't care if it goes to 470
right.
or 420. They're in at 490. So I'm in at 490 with them. If it drops, cool, great. So what? If it doesn't drop, I'm in with them. Even if it does drop, I'm in at the same price that they exposed $8 million of their client's money. And as far as the stop loss, I hate this question, because every day I talk about this. People are like, oh, should I use a 20% or 30% stop? You can't use a set percentage or dollar amount for stops. You cannot do that. But when talking about the big flow, if these guys put $4 million of their client's money into a position and it's down 60% and they're not closing out the trade, you've got to ask yourself why. Well, they still believe in the setup. Whatever reason they got into the trade is still valid. These guys don't trade on emotion. They don't put $4 million exposed to the market and go, oh, shoot, it's down 10%. They don't care. They got into a trade for a reason. They have a trade thesis. Until that thesis is invalidated, they're going to stay in the trade. So if it's down 40% or 60%, I'm not smarter than these hedge funds guys. If I was, I would be the hedge fund with $600 million of assets under management. I'm not smarter than them. I don't know their thesis. So if they're still in the trade because they believe their thesis is still intact, I don't care if it's down 60%. I'm not stopping out of that trade because they're not stopping out of theirs.
Right. And like the chart, the genius chartist that works for that hedge fund making $600K a year already did the charting, right? That's the thing that made it click for me. Like, why do I need to pull up my chart and draw my lines and with my limited experience? But they've already done that, like you said, for the right flow. They're in for a reason. They're not entering uninformedly, right? So that's
a lot of these trades will pull back. So you can get a better entry on some of them. You're going to miss the entry altogether if you wait on some of them, but some of them will pull back. But ask yourself, put the common sense back into trading. But just stop everything for a second. Put some common sense into this. You work at a hedge fund. You're the technical analysis guy, and they don't enter trades just based on technical analysis, but that's part of the team, right? You're the technical analysis guy for a hedge fund. They say, okay, we have this trade thesis. We're going to open a position for $6 million. They opened the position for $6 million. Do you think the technical analysis guy that looked at that trade and researched it said, you know what, this is the shittiest position on the chart that we could enter. Let's go open that position.
Yeah, I'm bored.
Does that make any sense?
No, I'm bored. Let's get into something.
This is the worst part of the chart where we could enter a position. Let's go ahead and expose our money right now. That makes no sense. So do I need to look at a chart? No, because the chart was good enough for them to expose their client's money. Is it the best spot on the chart? Not necessarily all the time, but they don't enter based on technical analysis. They have a whole trade thesis on why they're doing this. Technical analysis is one part of it.
Yeah,
So
sure,
they don't
sure.
look at a chart and say, this is such a bad spot, we should open it right here.
Right.
It's good enough for them to expose their money. I don't care what the chart looks like. I'm tagging along with them. So they open a position right now, I'm in it right behind them. I don't care what the chart looks like, because someone on their team looked at the chart and said, okay, let's hit the go button.
Yeah, imagine just spending $6 million on a depreciating asset that's going to be, worthless in 3 weeks or whatever. It's phenomenal amounts of money that are being observed real time with these flows. And the stop loss thing is something we see people all the time. Like you said, it is a thing when you're new to it. When I was brand new to it, I stopped out at 15-20% a couple times, and then it just came back and ran. And one of the Affirm flows from back in the day, I think, maybe, I don't remember which one, but it happened enough times where I started paper trading I just paper traded all the phone flows. And sure enough, it just I finally got to the point where I saw it. And I do agree that for the right top tier flow, I'm with you. I don't really do stop losses either. It's just going to ride or die. But sometimes people get kind of they treat a spec flow. I remember when that happened a couple months ago. There were some people who were, just letting spec flows ride or die, and there's the issues like that. So
and then they say flow trading sucks. This doesn't work, and we're like, let me look at the flow. And like, yeah, that was spec flow. You have to have a stop for that.
yeah, right.
So again, it's understanding the system beyond white, yellow, purple. It's understanding the reasoning behind it, not just the data itself, but the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard as a new trader, because the first thing you learn as a new trader is what? Protect your capital. You've got to have stop losses in place. If you enter a trade, before you hit the buy button, you know where you're going to stop out. And then you hear me go on Twitter and say, no, I don't use stops. So everyone's like, huh? What the? What do you mean you don't use stops? You're an idiot. You're not responsible. Every trader needs stops. Nope. Not for this specific circumstance. When I'm doing technical analysis trades, I know where I'm going to stop out of that trade. If I'm following spec flow, I know where I'm going to stop out of that trade. Top tier flow, I just don't have a stop. And it's not irresponsible.
Yeah.
Our record proves it's not. I mean, if we were batting 20%, I'd look at you and say, you know what, you're right, I'm not doing good. If we're at 85% of what we're doing generating a profit, you can't tell me we're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt. When I first started too, I told Charlie this, I've told several people this. When I first came into the community, I heard that I took the classes, I started doing the things, and I was suspicious at first. I thought I saw the win rate and I thought, I don't know, man. Yeah.
And you should be. Sure. And that's why I hate posting it on Twitter.
Yeah. Right.
But, I mean, I don't just post the stats, I post the individual trades. So if you want to call BS on any of them, look it up yourself.
Right. And
but that's the reason why I hate doing it. And I'm the same way, right? If you tell me I have a trading system that generates 85% profitable trades, my first thought is, yeah, right. No, you don't. The reason I'm so hard on that is because I see it on a daily basis. That small account that I posted live on Twitter, the 3 open trades are red, but 20 trades prior to that are all profitable trades that I would not have been in without the flow. The system works. The stats are there. It's providing you a lot of profitable trades. So you're right to be skeptical. It sounds like a marketing pitch. And for 99% of the people that say that, it is a marketing pitch. For us, I'm glad you got a chance to prove to yourself that it's not a marketing pitch. It's actually, results are going to vary, of course, but the stats are the stats. These are profitable trades left and right. So don't feel bad for being a skeptic.
Well, that was entirely my experience. I kept track of everything. I basically took just the phone flows for the first month or so. And I think it was back when there was a bunch of phone flows that one month. And I think I had 22 trades or something. And I think it was 20 out of 22 were profitable. And it just, I did my own little experiment. And even with my, limited skills, it still was very profitable. And, I came to it with a skeptic. I'm just a skeptic about everything. That's just all there is to it. And I was skeptical, and now I'm a believer. So there is no doubt what you're saying. I know people sometimes don't believe, but I urge people, give it a try and just do your own,
Well, this goes back to what we were talking
see your
before about
stuff.
haters on social media. Like people about haters on social media. Like people I get attacked so much on social media for posting flow trades. Like the DMs I get are probably, well, I won't say it's probably not 50-50. It's probably a good solid. It's better now because the haters stopped. After I started posting the actual the trades performance, like my personal trades, not just the flow trades itself. Yeah. It used to be probably 70-30 split, with 30% of the messages I got were just people saying like, "Oh, you're full of shit," et cetera, et cetera. I would talk to them all the time. Listen, you might be right. Maybe I'm BSing you this entire time. Try it for yourself. And they won't take the step to try it because they're such a skeptic. They're like, I'm not even going to try it for a month, which I get. Yeah. Again, if you tell me right now there's a system out there that's going to give me profitable trades, I know how I trade. I don't want another system. I'm very successful with what I do now. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to click on anything that says I have a system you can learn. I'm not done learning, but flow trading is my main style of trading right now. So if you say something like that, I expect people to be like, yeah, right, BS. Mm-hmm. But when I post every single trade we've called out that generates that stats, where you can pull up the chart yourself and see for yourself on your computer that can't be manipulated by me, you can verify the numbers, try it for yourself. Like, don't just talk shit. I'm good with talking shit. That's fine. But then go look and investigate it yourself and you'll see, oh, wow, no, these guys were serious. They're right. Yeah, sure. And try it. And again, if it's not the type of trading you want to do, I'm good with that also. Not everyone has to be a flow trader. But if you're going to talk shit about it, look up the stats that I'm posting. I'm not just saying this number of trades were profitable out of the number of trades we called out. I posted every single trade we put out live. You can pull it up and verify it for yourself. So be a skeptic. That's fine. But try it, investigate it before you just go on social media and cry, BS, BS, BS. Look up the information and prove to yourself. Try the service for a month. There are ways to overcome that skepticism.
That's my experience. I'm in complete agreement. And let me say this too. Just for listeners, there's definitely still people here. And what I like to do, this is a long form conversational laid back podcast. I like to give my guests a break, right? Maybe we need to go refill our drinks or whatever. So Mike, do you want to take just a few minutes and we'll just mute, and we'll definitely be coming right back. But you want to take a break? It's been a minute. What do you think? And break we did take. So coming up soon, next episode is going to be 7StarMike, the man behind the mantis. There are many more roads we traveled down in this live podcast, and I really appreciate you guys listening. And I will see you soon. My name is River, a voice in the night that knows what's up.